All right, well, hey, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about search engine optimization. And one of the biggest questions that people are having right now is whether or not SEO really matters in 2019. Should you be blogging for search engine optimization as a small business owner? If you've got your own little shop, what are the things that you should actually be doing so that you can get some traction? It can be so hard to understand what's going on. And today I want to talk about just the basics here, real quick, and what you should be doing. So, first of all, if you're a small business owner, I want you to remember that Google, in a sense, is all about providing answers to questions, right? So, whenever somebody searches something, it's going to come up with what's called a search engine result page. I don't want to go too much into this, but basically, there's kind of a couple different sections. There's multiple different types of search engine result pages that you're going to see. Now, here I ended up searching quartz versus granite. Now, this is an informational type search. There is a company advertising on the top. There's a rich snippet answer. Granite counters are mined from pure stone. The stone is sawed into slabs or made into tiles, whatever. But that's from countertopguides.com. Underneath here, we've got other questions, and it's going to keep answering this. And these are kind of interesting. And then down here, you've got your organic search results. These are just so HGTV, countertop guides, and now we have YouTube videos. Now, up here, I could go from all to images. There would be some images that would show us videos. This would be a combination of YouTube videos and websites that have their own search engine or their own video that's been crawled, and in here should be that video, but we'll see if it's there or not. But here's the deal. Is blogging and is inbound marketing still important for search engine optimization? What does this all matter? Well, here's the deal. Google just did an update that said that the way that you can abide by to get your website to show up, right? So the whole idea here is that if you are somebody who sells quartz, granite, or marble countertops, if you're a countertop person, when people search this, you want to get in front of them, right? So the idea is that if you write content that answers this, so Sebring Design and Build, this is a remodeling company, not really sure where they're out of, but the pros and cons of quartz versus granite countertops, the complete rundown. Now, if you look at this, we've got a beautiful photo up on the top, a couple of touch points. He's got a little advertising here. There's hyperlinks, but you want to remodel your kitchen, but you only have enough to save to renew your countertops after much contemplation. So this is a well-written article. It's very relevant. If you were to read this through, there's the pros and the cons. He's made an infographic on the side. He has hyperlinks to great sources or within his website and to other sources. And then he's actually trying to sell stuff, so he's doing some Amazon affiliate links, it looks like. But this is a great guide. If you were trying to decide between granite and quartz, look at the guide that this company has made. And then they have a free ebook giveaway. The idea here is they've created this piece of content to add value to people, to help explain, with the hopes that A, they'd sell some advertising, B, you download their free ebook. I bet eventually they're going to have some services here. So they do remodeling. They'd love you to come check that out. And the idea is that this is called content inbound marketing. They know that their clientele is going to be answering or asking the question, what's the difference between quartz and granite? Quartz versus granite. So they've created content. And when you have content there, so if you take a look at what we just looked at, this purple text here, this is called the meta title. Then you have down here, this is the meta description. This is the slug or the URL. It's sebringdesignbuild.com/pros and cons. And no matter how you cut that was a very relevant situation. Then when you get in here, you'll notice he has the title right up at top. He's got an image that actually shows countertops. He has some headers. These are they're called H1, H2. There's a header system here. There's internal linking and good quality content. That's the bottom line. Yes, this is important, but how do you actually figure out what's important to blog about? So what is it that you should write about? Now, your blogs can just be like this. You take a question or a query that someone might be asking. And one of the hardest things that can be is, what should I actually title? What should the subject matter be? Well, I want to show you how to do that real quick. So if we go back to Google, here's the easiest way to find topics, questions, and subject matter to write on. So if you have an idea, first of all, just go in here and actually, let's go quartz versus granite again, and let's search for that. Now, up here, you'll see what's all here, but let's say, you don't feel like you're going to be able to outrank HGTV, countertopguides.com. But if you go down here, these are related searches that are in the algorithm, and they might be a good idea to check out. So quartz versus granite countertops, quartz versus granite versus Corian, quartz versus granite versus marble. My bet would be, if you were to write some articles about this, and even create some inbound YouTube videos, you'd be able to work. So that's the first tip, is when you search, come down to these related searches, and you can find other keywords that there might be. This is a good way to see these are kind of semantically relevant to the core quartz versus granite. Now, that article we were reading was the pros and cons of quartz versus granite. That's a phenomenal type article. You could take just about any subject matter and do a pros and cons and a versus, and you're going to have some success because you're going to help people contrast. But these are good ideas for content. These could be subsections of quartz versus granite, and it could be super helpful. But you always want to know what gets enough search volume to work. So one of the things you can do, once you get some ideas there, you can also go into YouTube, and let's just say you go quartz. This is how I think of stuff. So quartz versus, look at this, quartz versus automatic watch, quartz versus granite. This, you could even do a little screenshot there. Now I've got some ideas on the subject matter of, now here's quartz versus granite. Here's a bunch of sub ideas. You could take those screenshots, take the information, write it down, and then here's where you can kind of do some cool stuff. Go into what, if you don't have a Google, I'm going to shift this over because it's going to show my account number, but when you go into Google Ads, ads.google.com, or your Google AdWords account, if you hit the Tools button and you go over to Keyword Planner, you can go in here and get keyword ideas, or actually get keyword search volume. So what I did here is I put it in here because I didn't want my number to be shown big time. And long story short, once you put the keywords in here, you can search in different locations. So right now, I think I'm doing Canada and the United States. And the keywords that I'm doing, I put a couple of them here. But all I did was go here and copy these and then paste them in. And here we can see what their historical, so it shows forecasts, and you can kind of put a budget if you were to be doing advertising. But all I want to do is I want to see the historical measures. How much search volume are these getting? If you take a look at this, granite versus quartz countertops, pros and cons, gets 720 searches a month. There's medium competition. And you could see, if you were to actually do some advertising like that one firm was, this is to be in the bottom of the front page, it'd be about 71 cents. To be on the top, it'd be about $4.48. But look at down here. Quartz versus granite versus marble has 1,300 average searches per month. This is monthly search. So these are, you can find keywords that have good volume. This would be a great article to match quartz versus granite versus marble, pros and cons. That'd be a great article for a remodeler to write. And when you write it out, you'll want to do some key things. So this is an easy way to do some research. You come in here, you can see what kind of volume there is, and then you can see some of these semantically related. You could have different headers saying these exact same things. Remember, don't keyword smash. Don't write for keywords, but you need to sprinkle them in and use them kind of as a guide. Well, here's what I've got here. I've got a Facebook post. Now, what I want to do is I want to go over what are the keys of a well-written article that's going to rank. Okay. Well, the first thing that you want to do is you want to have an actual title, and let's go to. We can just do this one. This is a quick little article that I did on a YouTube video, actually. So, liking reviews. What is impacted when a review is liked? Okay. And I've got some content here. I've linked out to the authority that I was talking about. I've got a YouTube video. But let's dive into what an actual post looks like. I think maybe a better idea is let's go to one of mine that actually ranks for some stuff. The pros and cons of real estate investment. This one actually ranks for some stuff. So let's edit this post and let's take a look at it. Now, we do this. It's one of those things where I don't spend a ton of time on my own. I do this for my clients more. But up here, you've got your title. Okay, your title, just your regular page title, is important, and you want to make sure that it makes a ton of sense according to what you're writing about. And then you have images sprinkled in here. Whenever you have images, there's an alt image text, and you could make your alt image text relevant to the search query. And then if you look, you have a combination of headers. And when you have headers, you have H1, H2, H3, H4 headers. And headers are good. It breaks up your content. You can ask great questions. H1 is the most important. H2 is the second and third and fourth. You only want to have probably 3 or 4 of each. But what causes real estate investments to lose money? Now you've got content written in here. And then I hyperlink out to sources that are meaningful to me. And when I do that, here's another tip. Make sure that when you put the hyperlink in, you do this little drop down and say open in a new tab. That way when people actually click a hyperlink, they're not leaving your website. It's not shutting your website down. So I've got titles in here. I've got some videos that I sprinkle in here. And the idea is I'm trying to write engaging content that actually matters. From there, I've got things are broken up so that they're easier to read. It's not super difficult and really crammed. I've got hyperlinks out to sources that matter within my site. I've got pages and images that help it be more engaging. The bottom line is that article is starting to rank for some stuff. And the reason why is because I looked at the pros and cons of real estate is what I want, or real estate investment. That's what I wanted to write about. And we created a ton of content about that. And not only that, but the video has some decent search engine optimization. So that's the basics. You're going to go in, you're going to use Google, find these related searches, use YouTube and see the auto-completes, screenshot those. And you could use those as headers and subject matter for when you write. Now, here's another thing that when you write, you could take those. Let's just say you've got some of those, let's open it up real quick. Here's some of those keywords, right? Here's something you could do. If the keywords matter, now you don't want to just go right off of whatever's in the algorithm. You could write new articles and fresh content and it would be perfectly fine. But let's just say you came in and you wanted to write a fresh piece of content. So you open up your old document here, and maybe what you do is you start out, what are the headers going to be, right? So what I want to do is it'll be quartz versus granite versus marble, the pros and cons. And the first section could be quartz versus granite kitchen countertops. And then you'd want to write a hyperlink and write some information about that. The idea is you create headers and then write about it for a paragraph. Write another header, create some more content. Write another header, get some more content. And just continue to do that. And next thing you know, you've got an article written. Another way you could plan your writing is what are the 10 questions someone might ask? So what would be some FAQs? What's the price difference? What's the longevity, scratch resistance, ease of maintenance, stuff like that. And then you can go through and say, those can be and all you do is you fill it in from there, you copy and paste it and put it in your Word doc. I hope that helps you with guiding you on how to write well and how to create content. All we want to do is help you out here. So have a wonderful day. I hope that's helpful. Take care.